Well, I mean, the most important thing right now is, of course, having to deal with immigration and the Trump administration. ¿Verdad? So we've been working with several organizations, Defensa, Todos Somos Inmigrantes.
DC Defensa?
Sí.
Okay, cool.
The Undocu and so we got 2 or 3 things going with them. And of course, it's about protecting our community, and it starts with knowing your rights. I think as an immigrant, especially if you're undocumented, you feel like you don't belong, and you kind of internalize it. So you're andas escondido, you're hiding, you're as invisible as possible, and you're always in fear. So folks don't understand, lots of folks don't understand that within that undocumented status, you have rights as a resident of this country, right? The Constitution's there. You got First Amendment rights, free speech. You have the Fifth Amendment, which allows you to not make statements that incriminate yourself, right? So knowing your rights is the first step in protecting yourself during these times right now. So what I say is that if you get approached out on the street, you don't have to say anything. They ask you your name, nada.
So you could just walk away. What do you do at that point?
Yeah.
Okay.
And unless they have a warrant for your arrest, they can't stop you. They can't search you, right? Those are the rights that you have. So all you have to say is, I know my rights, conozco mis derechos, and if you're not arresting me, then I need to go. So you walk away, right?
Yes.
So you don't have. They ask you your name. You don't have to tell them. They ask you whether you're undocumented. You don't say anything. You don't say anything. Anything that you say, as they say, is can and will be used against you. So the best thing to do is not say anything, right?
How are things different now than they were before? Like, all this was all the other administrations, they were doing the same thing, as far as going to people and asking them these kind of questions. Why is it so aggressive right now? It wasn't this aggressive in the past, in the history?
Yeah.
Okay.
Although it's been aggressive, every single president that has sat in that chair in the White House, within their immigration policies, they allow for deportations, right? So you would think that, of course, George Bush, then Obama, then Trump, and then Biden, and then now Trump again.
Yeah.
Well, each one of them has deported, 2, 3, 4, 500,000 people every year, right?
I remember the kids in cages, family separations. That was major. So is this a continuation of that?
It's a continuation of that, but it's much more vicious. Right now we're seeing, talking about the kids in cages, as our friend Gabriel said, that happened 5 or 6 years ago, and those children that were 6 years old right now, they're 12 years old, and they're still not with their parents, right? Geez. So they've grown up within the institution. So and we're seeing that happening again. So the grandmothers have to come and take them over. So they're thinking about self-deporting, because the mother's going to be sent away, the children are here, the grandmother is here. So you either stay and within the same craziness of deportation, or you can go where you feel more safe, right?
Yeah.
So you go back home, you kick it with your family, and now there's an element of safety, and especially for children, right?
Wow.
So knowing your rights is one of those things, and so what if you get picked up at work? Whether you're out in the field, construction, in the kitchen, washing dishes, landscaping, whatever it is that you do, if you get picked up, what happens to your children that are in school? What happens to your car? What happens to your bank accounts? If you've bought a house, and you don't have to be documented to buy a house, what happens to that house, right? So the second thing that we're doing is we're developing like family emergency plans, and these plans then document who is going to be responsible for administering your money, your assets, who can pick up your children, who can take your children to the doctor, right? Once you're gone. So those family plans are something that we're focused on right now, and the three organizations that I mentioned, and along with others around the state, that's what they're into. And then the third thing that we're looking at and implementing is the Rapid Response Network. So the Rapid Response Network, when Trump announced that he was going to have the largest deportation in the history of the United States, right? Like he's always exaggerating his status. When he announced that, all of a sudden, Facebook, social media, we got calls there at the Centro where I work that ICE is in town.
Maybe you want to mention the Centro?
Yeah, El Centro del Pueblo, there in Santa Paula, which is under the Lucha umbrella, along with Poder Popular.
Poder Popular, shout out to Doña Mari.
Oh, sí, también, ¿verdad? So anyway, all of a sudden, we're getting these calls that ICE is in town. And then they put it on Facebook, and it would go out, and it would freak out the community, right?
I saw that.
So to deal with that issue, then, if what we're suggesting is that if you see ICE or somebody that you feel, a vehicle or individuals with or without uniforms, with or without signs that say they're from Homeland Security, if you see them and you think that they are, then we ask you to call a number. And this number is a legal observer who then confirms whether it is or is not. And if it is, then that information goes out to a registered group of individuals who gave up their name so that they could be contacted. And this information, this group text message goes out that ICE is in town and you should be careful, right?
See, to me, the thing is just like the pandemic tested us of our human will to be community, this too, just like all these different groups that are basically creating kind of like neighborhood watches, I think that's the kind of that's the beauty, that's the miracle, that's the magic that is happening amongst ourselves. But yes, this fear is really strong, but this unity amongst people, like all these different groups, I love it, and I think that's the power that we are seeing right now. I just want to acknowledge that for the public to see, to witness what's happening.
On the way over here, I was listening to this song by Los Tigres del Norte called Somos Más Americanos, right?
Great song.
And that's a great corrido which talks about the fact that, as we say during the Chicano movement, we didn't cross the border crossed us, right? And that corrido is about that, we lost half of Mexico in 1848 with a quote-unquote Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo. We lost half of our territory, of Mexican territory. So all of what's considered now Aztlán, California, Nevada, Oregon, Wyoming, Colorado, Utah, all of that was taken, and
but tell me this, during the Treaty of Guadalupe, didn't it also say that, hey, the Mexicans that are here, you're going to respect them, correct? I could have sworn. So I think we need to bring that back. Hey, bro, I know we're Mexican, or if these people are just newcomers, but in the Treaty of Guadalupe it says here, you guys took the land, whatever. I mean, happens, but it also says you're going to respect us. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what we're trying to get to at this point, is hey man, stop treating people as subhumans. Fine, we understand, everybody's having economic issues. This is all about our state of survivals. And so we're getting pinned against each other. Pero I'm sorry, I just had to express that.
No, that's fine. That's fine, because that's exactly true. That the irony, going back to Los Tigres, is that we come to work, right? As immigrants, and immigration and migration is just a natural process, where throughout history people have moved. When the climate has changed, they moved,
Yeah. And when the pandemic hit, ahí estábamos, dude, working and seeing our parents have to go to work, or our familia have to go to work, and everybody's like scared that they might get sick.
Oh, yeah.
They were called, 2, 3, 5 years ago, they were called essential workers.
Mm-hmm.
And we should remember that.
Yeah, and as essential workers, then you were required to go to work, right? So farm workers were some of those, promotoras and promotores that were working with the pandemic and educating the community. They were classed as essential workers, and with the promotoras and the volunteers that would work out of the centro, most of us got COVID.
Yeah.
Just because we were exposed, and we were exposed because we wanted to help people, so we protected ourselves with personal protective equipment, PPE. But even then, we'd get COVID. We took it home. Our children got COVID. So we put ourselves on the line to make sure that we saved some folks here in this county. The estimate was that we saved 300 to 400 lives because of the work that we did with the COVID campaign. So here we are in this country where we all come in a good way, I think, even though they label us criminals for crossing the border that we had nothing to do with. And so right now, going back to presidents deporting people, during their administration, I just heard yesterday that even though the federal administration say that we're going to focus on criminals, right? Well, of the first 80 people that they deported, 79 of them had no criminal record. Only one of them did. So and then you find these folks that were deported without any legal reason. You find them going to El Salvador, right? A dictatorship where the United States is paying them to receive all of these immigrants, and that's a hellhole, So individuals that were hardworking Americans, Mexicanos living here, even if you're undocumented, even if you didn't have any kind of criminal record, all of a sudden you find yourself in a hardcore prison with hardcore individuals, and you're leaving your family behind to struggle, and so it's just a bad situation.
I just want to know how the public could look beyond our skin colors, look beyond just our differences, and see that this is madness. I'm not even mad. I'm sad. I feel so much emotion, and I think that a lot of people are feeling this, and we need to find ways to positively, like I said, continue working together, unifying ourselves. But we need to see this as a call to action, is what I'm saying. There's no reason to sit back, because someone said it earlier, and they said, primero vienen por ti, y luego vienen por mí.
Yeah.
And even the people who aren't undocumented, who are full citizens, they're getting thrown in the mix. I mean, let the public know. Let the public witness it. It's happening.
Yeah.
I just want the public. Once again, we're conscious. We want the public to know. Like, we really want the public to know that this is happening, and really it's in all our hands.
Yeah, and some of the folks that I know that see the kind of work that we're doing, and when you hit them up about whether they're concerned about what's going on, and some of them flat out said, you know what, I'm just going to put my head in the sand and let it blow over for the next 3 or 4 years. It'll blow over, right? But the damage is being done right now, right? Yeah, you need to exercise your rights. So whether it is to protect your family, whether it's to protect people that right now we're in a situation where everybody is at risk. It looks like it's going toward fascism.
Right.
And with the dismantling of what they call the deep state, right? With that dismantling of the administrative apparatus of this country, it's all that damage that's being forced on this country right now by the federal administration. All of that damage is going to last for years and years and years. We might say that that Trumper is going to be gone in 3 years, 3.5 years. Well, the damage is still going to be here, right? So we have to act right now.
Yes, sir. Yes,
to
sir.
limit the damage as much as we can, and push our electeds and our leadership to do something about it. Because right now, we would hope that that the Democrats would stand up and against the Republicans, but there's a few that are doing that, but not in the numbers that it takes to make a majority vote to stop this madness, as you're calling it. It is madness, to stop it.